is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharp. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments now so that I can answer your questions. So I'm in between appointments, but I want to hop on and focus on some questions today. So put your questions in the comments now, and always know that we are here to evaluate your specific needs for relief. I've already told multiple people today alone who thought they did not qualify for any kind of immigration benefit, that they qualify for various options to get protection here, to be able to get their families here, and to have a path to residency in the United States. So take action, guys, because you never know what options are out there that you don't know about, that because we deal with case types that not a lot of attorneys deal with. Hi there, Orlando. Thanks so much for the hearts. I appreciate it. Hi there on TikTok. Thanks for joining as always, and on Instagram. Thanks for joining. Hi there in Fargo, North Dakota. Oh, thank you so much. I love you too. Thank you. Thanks for the love. That's always the best. Okay, so how long for VAWA these days? So whenever it comes to processing times, when it comes to processing times, it's very important for you to get it straight from the horse's mouth. You can go to uscis.gov, go and look at case processing times, and you will be able to see the range of times. It's changing day to day. What I focus on is I focus on the types of relief that we can get for our clients so they can get protection while they're waiting for this process. Thanks so much, Alicia, for the love on TikTok. I really appreciate it, and it's so nice to see you. All right, I'm going to focus on questions because I have to jump into an appointment soon, so I want to try to get some questions answered. Hi, if I have asylum case and I got married, how would that go? Is it that my case will be changed? No, the two of them will be running at the same time. And then once you get your permanent residence through marriage, it will cancel the asylum. Now, keep in mind that you also just want to make sure as you're proceeding with the two case types, though, I'm just telling you general information. It's very important, and asylum is very fact-based. So I would also want to understand what your asylum case is about to be able to determine whether it's a good idea for the both of these case types to be going forward at the same time. It's very important that you also keep that in mind. They can exist at the same time. It's just that each case is different and the advice may be different just based on your particular circumstances. If my wife's last name is hyphenated and needs to renew her passport before May, should she drop her married name as the SAVE Act and Voters ID may be needed? That I don't have an answer for you on that regarding the SAVE Act. It's very important for you to evaluate that. So I know with the SAVE Act, which the SAVE Act, I don't believe it is law yet. So maybe you shouldn't even be jumping the gun. But what the language in the SAVE Act so far would also affect married women. So if they're married, they would have to bring additional evidence to show that they were born with the name on their voter's ID. I believe that's how it goes. That is not a question I can answer. So you probably need to talk to another type of attorney about that, or just call the office, the voter's office, to see, what are the policies right now and what will be needed to ensure that she'll be able to vote. Let's see. How long you need to wait when you petition for a minor. For case processing times, go to uscis.gov and you'll be able to see case processing times there. It's best for you to get it there. One processing time, I'll say today, may not be the same processing time tomorrow. If processing time is 28 months for T visa, does it this mean from the date of filing is counted? Yes. So it changes, it does change over time, and that is outside of our control. But keep in mind, what I focus on is the relief and getting our clients in the running for this relief. And many of our clients that were faced with long processing times back then are happy now because they still made the move. One thing I want to caution you on is being short sighted about case processing times. If you qualify for an immigration benefit, go for it, because even having a pending process can give you the ability to get protection, to be protected. And it allows you to be ahead of the game and ahead of the others in line, other people who waited. So please just keep that in mind so that you're not, because some people are thinking long processing times mean they don't qualify or that it doesn't make sense to apply. Right now, if you're here in the US, you qualify for a benefit, go for it. You can call us, let's talk about the options, and then we can give you a better idea on what to expect once we determine you qualify. All right. Speaking of VAWA, how soon can you file for citizenship after you receive the green card if your spouse was a US citizen? 3 years. So it's 3 years if your spouse, which is great. So VAWA does offer, if you are married to a US citizen spouse, a shorter timeline. I'm on TikTok. Put your questions in the comments. And thanks so much for the love. I appreciate it. Put your questions in the comments. And thanks for liking the live. I appreciate it. It means that you're empowering other people, you're allowing other people to see the live and see information that empowers them. All right. What are the solutions with someone who have asylum court in next month? Get an attorney. Asylum, in order to win an asylum case, it's very intense. You have to prepare solidly for it, especially when it is going before a judge. Now I don't know where you are in the asylum process. When one gets a notice to appear in court, you're not going to just show up on the first day and get deported, right? That's not how the court system works. You go for a master calendar hearing. That's basically saying for you to answer to the charges in the notice to appear. When I say charges, it means, did you overstay? Are you deportable? You're basically answering that question. And then to announce to the court, tell the judge, what are kinds of relief are you applying for that would stop your deportation? Basically, the defenses to the deportation. Once that's done, the master calendar hearing, most of it is waiting, and it's basically 5 to 15 minutes in the judge talking back and forth to you or your attorney and the opposing counsel. Then once that's done, the judge will schedule a hearing, another hearing, sometimes like a check-in hearing or the final individual hearing. And that's scheduled 1 to 2 years out. When you have an asylum case, you need to prepare with evidence, witnesses, expert opinions, and expert people who are going to testify as experts. You're going to have to make sure that your declaration is also submitted in detail, in a lot more detail than maybe you submitted it previously. You're going to have to prepare for the testimony because you're going to be placed on the stand, and sometimes you're going to be questioned, and the judge is going to base the decision on this testimony as well as the evidence presented. So it's a lot that goes into it, and I often say at least a year to a year and a half of preparation alone is required. I mean, keep in mind, if it needs to be done in a shorter time, that's our job as attorneys. But to get the best results and give yourself a best chance, it's really a solid year to year and a half. Put those questions in the comments. I'm here to answer your questions, and I'm just going to be here for another 10 minutes or so. So put those questions in the comments. How much is it taking for F2A visa outside of the US? You can go to the visa bulletin, and I do have an idea, but first of all, I have good news. F2A means it's now current, meaning that anybody who is the child of a permanent resident who's under 21 and unmarried, or the spouse of a permanent resident, if you're here in the US, you have the possibility of applying for adjustment of status. That's usually not the case. So jump on it. Right now, we know through April, it's going to be current. Jump on it. It is urgent, guys. So make sure you're scheduling an appointment to talk to us about your situation so we can determine how to best move forward, because this may not last. Usually there's a wait list. Thanks again, Alicia. Okay, let me scroll down. Let me see any more questions. How long does it take for your I-130 file for my husband in March 16, 2025? Go to uscis.gov, go to case processing times, and you'll be able to look up the I-130 form. You'll see the range of time that you can expect. As a 2-year condition green card holder, can I apply for FAFSA? I want to start college. I'm afraid to take the funds. So FAFSA is not considered public benefits. So absolutely, you can definitely apply. Just make sure you're completely honest on the application. Also, keep in mind, I'm not your attorney. I am speaking from general experience. You should always consult your attorney for specific details. I'm an asylee. Do I need to worry to be worried? If you're applying for asylum, your case is strong. You should be able to have faith in that process. We have 1 asylum cases. We just got 2 asylum work permits just yesterday. So I can tell you that the process is still moving forward, though we are now hearing rumblings of them trying to do policy changes again. That's why it's important to make sure that you're on top of it. Do you qualify? Move forward with it if you qualify. Move forward with your cases when you qualify. Where are you located? We're located in Delray Beach. We represent clients in all 50 states and the globe. So no matter where you are, we can help you. I have I-485 interview based on VAWA. Does USCIS ask about abuse? Is it best to have a psych eval? So now it depends. So they've changed things a bit, and they may touch on a bit of it. Based on my experience, I still have not seen them get too much into the detail about the abuse because the VAWA has been approved already, right? So once a VAWA is approved, they don't worry too much about the abuse anymore. However, if they do suspect fraud, they do reserve the right to ask questions again. So it's all dependent on what kind of case type do you have, what are the facts, and if the officer spots anything new that raises a red flag to them, they may start to ask questions about that. But usually the I-485 interview after a VAWA has been approved is only focused on your admissibility. Do you have a criminal record? Did you meet entry requirements? In the case of VAWA, you know, even that is, they don't really worry too much about your entry without, your first time entry without any kind of visa or anything like that. So, but they are focused on, is there anything that can disqualify you from getting the green card? Safe to travel with your 48-month extension. That's what it's there for. The 48-month extension is there to show you continue to be a green card holder. No, is it safe to travel for you It's going to be dependent on your facts. We have seen cases where even green card holders going from 2 year to 10 year with that 48-month extension, they have been detained at the airport or sent a notice to appear just because there were certain facts that came up while they were traveling. For example, the border officer may find that there was a past old criminal record, and that raises now questions about should they be deportable. So it just to say, generally, you have a 48-month extension, you have it with your expired card, you have your letter, you have your current valid passport. You should be able to travel, and maybe any visas that you need for other countries. It should be fine, but it also depends on your individual risk. Is the government expediting cases? No. So the case, it is, these cases are within certain processing times. I wish they would stay within the so-called processing times, but they are not expedite. In some cases, they expedite based on certain emergencies, but for the most part, they're not just expediting everybody's case. All right, I'm back on Instagram. So put your questions. Do you think fiance visa is still possible during this pause? So with the fiance visa, it is not known to be an immigrant visa. So it's, believe it or not, it is a non-immigrant visa. I'll have to check to see if it's on the list, but it should not be on that pause list as a non-immigrant visa. So what is T visa timeline, and can one travel with a parole when approved and green card pending? Go to uscis.gov, go look up the I-914 form on case processing times. You'll see the range of time it's taking now. And I'm doing that because I have an idea, but it's changing from day to day. And I want everybody to be able to educate themselves and understand the processing time. So you can do that. Now, when can one travel with parole? You'd have to, after approval of the T, you can apply for a travel document. Then you can then apply for the green card. There are two ways to apply for the green card, either early or at the 3 year mark after being approved for the T visa. How consistent is BFD work permit for the T visa? So we are getting them, and because it's a discretionary benefit, some they are using their discretion to determine who gets it and who doesn't get it. So in this case, we are seeing results for our clients for sure, but it's taking longer. So first they get the BFD, and then the work permit comes a couple months after. But the BFD and the work permit still offer great benefits. The BFD, which is the bona fide determination letter, offers temporary protection while the process is moving forward, which brings a lot of individuals and their families relief. How much do you do the fiance visa for? Give us a call. Let's talk. It's really on a case by case basis, and it's dependent on what your facts are. If you are going through a divorce, what options are there to get US citizenship? Give us a call. I want to understand if you want to be able to have residency or citizenship here, even though you're going through a divorce, there may be options, but we have to understand exactly what your situation is. And that's exactly why we, as the attorneys here, make ourselves available for these appointments to be able to discuss specifically what your options are. So yeah, even divorce doesn't necessarily, if you were married to a US citizen or a permanent resident, you're going through a divorce, even the divorce doesn't necessarily have to stop you from getting your documents here. It just depends on the facts. For example, if your spouse mistreated you and you're now divorcing them, you qualify for VAWA. And that gets you your green card and protection here. I feel like giving up because I'm not sure if I will get it. So I do understand the frustrations, and I understand, with everything going on, how discouraging it can be. But we need to try to maintain. Whenever we feel that way, we need to push through. I'm not saying be positive, because sometimes it can be hard to do that, but push through. Still take one step at a time and move forward, right? As long as you know you're working towards the positive result, that you do qualify, take that step forward, keep pushing forward, because we all go through this where we feel discouraged. But what's important is we continue to push forward to the finish line. Giving up is not an option. And if that was the case, I would be failing my clients. Giving up is not an option. What is mean a judge deny motion to terminate? So I don't know which side did the motion to terminate, but that means that your case is going to continue. So your removal proceeding is going to continue, and you have to still make sure you bring your defenses. All right. Let's see. I have one more minute and then I have to go. I have a second upcoming interview. My husband is hospitalized and in critical condition. Should I go alone? So I wouldn't be able to advise you specifically, but in this case, where it's a marriage-based case, going alone usually does not yield great results. I don't know how soon your interview is, but what you need to possibly do, you definitely have reason to delay the interview based on the condition of your spouse. And I'm so sorry that that's happening right now. And I wish your spouse recovery, and they'll be in my prayers. But I think this is definitely a good reason to delay the interview, because going alone carries its own risks. I did the biometrics for T visa yesterday. What's next after that? So usually you wait for a decision. I would like to file for my husband on my green card, but it would be next year. So think, call us, talk to us, right? You said next year. Is that a good idea? Right now is the time for spouses of permanent residents to apply for their green card now, especially if they're in the United States, and they're here on current status. So really think about talking to us here at SD Law Office. My schedule is filling up, guys, so make sure that you are going to the link in the profile and calling us, or you can go ahead and schedule online, because it's now is the time, and my schedule is filling up, and I have Saturday appointments, by the way, as well, so that I can help as many people as possible. So get on my schedule so we can get in and give people good news. And with that being said, I am going to another appointment. I've already told multiple people today, based on what they have told me, that they qualify for relief. And so I'm hoping my next appointment will have that same result. So have a good day. I will see you again, hopefully tomorrow. Go ahead, call, schedule. That's how you're going to be able to see what your options are. Have a good day. Bye.